Well, look what we got there, the brand new Garmin Fenix 8 Pro, and we're gonna get these out of the box today, see what they're all about. If you missed it, yesterday Garmin announced the brand new Garmin Fenix 8 Pro, and unfortunately I didn't have a review unit before launch to test out and share my thoughts on it, so I did post a video yesterday explaining what these things do and the new stuff. Basically, it boils down to two new features. There's the addition of Garmin InReach functionality with both LTE cellular connectivity for making phone calls from your watch and sending text messages and things like that, and on top of that there's also a new micro LED display. So I was pretty happy to see on my doorstep this morning that the new Fenix 8 Pros have arrived. I do have the AMOLED variants here, which I think are the ones most people will be interested in because that micro LED version is crazy expensive for a brighter display. But these ones look really interesting. So let's take a look. We're gonna set them up, see what the InReach setup is all about, maybe do some testing with that InReach functionality to see how it works. So as you can see here, I've got both the 47mm form factor Fenix 8 Pro and the 51mm version. I'm probably gonna wear the 47 because the 51's a little bit big on my wrist, but it will be good to see how the displays compare in the build quality and form factor. And both these watches are the same color. This is the raw titanium with graphite, I believe is the colorway. So with that, let's just get right into the boxes and take a look. Oh, we get a pull tab here. We definitely have to get that going. Ooh, there they are, and wow, they actually look a little bit different than I expected. I do have the Fenix 8 AMOLED non-pro here, and I'm pretty used to how this watch looks, but these actually look slightly different, and I don't think I noticed this in like the renderings in product photos. Okay, there they are. We've got the 47 on the left and the 51mm on the right. And the titanium, like the raw titanium look on this is a little bit different compared to the standard Fenix 8 I have here. It's a little bit more shiny and it's really hard to show on camera, but if you look at the top profile of the bezel of the Fenix 8 Pro, it's got like a tapered angle to it where the Fenix 8 non-pro actually has a flatter bezel. It also appears that the bezel is a little bit thicker, like the actual metal is thicker on the Pro version. And also the overall thickness of the watch is considerably thicker. I've got my calipers here, so let's do this without the heart rate bump. On the Fenix 8 non-pro, I'm getting 13.6 millimeters thick. On the Pro version of the same size, we're getting 15.7 millimeters thick. And when it comes to the thickness of the 51mm form factor watch, I'm getting 16.3 millimeters without the heart rate sensor bump. Okay, and there is the startup animation looking really cool as always, and the standard boot up process. Now we're at the point where we need to pair them with my phone, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. As usual, the pairing process was really painless. It happened in a couple of seconds and we're good to go. I just need to set this up, not gonna make it my primary wearable. And there we go. This brings us to the little summary of features that the watch has. And you can see right in the top left there, InReach service. That is the new feature on the Pro models. And there we go. We are at the standard default watch face here. Not actually a big fan of that watch face, but of course I can swap that out. There is one thing I'm noticing right off the bat about this 47mm version, and it's the display. It looks really bright and really crisp, and it almost looks like a different display compared to the standard Fenix 8. Let's go ahead and boost up the brightness on both models so we can get a better look. So there we go. We are in the settings menu here for brightness, and you can see I've got both set to their maximum brightness. The new Fenix 8 Pro is considerably brighter than the non-pro version. That's very interesting because that's not a spec they actually advertised during the launch of this watch. But I can say for certain, this display on the Pro model looks a little bit brighter compared to the non-pro model. I'll bring these outside in a second. I'll show you some B-roll of what these look like in direct sunlight side by side. Of course, the one with the orange band is the non-pro version. But for sure, the display on this new Pro model is definitely brighter. There's something different about it, and it looks really good. I could say that the overall responsiveness looks identical compared to my non-pro Fenix 8 here. It's got the same user experience, but that brightness is definitely different. Taking a closer look at the hardware here, another difference on the Pro model is the little accent on the side, the little piece of metal, is raw titanium, and I actually love that. That's something I complained about in my first review of this orange model. I just didn't love that color because it meant I was kind of locked into an orange band. On the Pro model here, it is a raw titanium look. I think you can get that in the standard non-Pro as well, but it does look really nice. You can see on the back, same heart rate sensor. The Pro model does say Pro under the Fenix 8 logo there, and that's kind of it. What's kind of strange about the setup process with the Fenix 8 Pro is that it didn't actually ask me to set up InReach or pay for a subscription or anything, so I guess I need to figure that out on my own. There was no prompt on my phone even when I was going through the process to put in my credit card info or anything like that. So I'm going down, and I'm gonna find Garmin Messenger. Again, this is kind of strange. Out of the box, Garmin Messenger is not added to my widget list, so I have to go in and manually add that. And then I can go in and select Garmin Messenger. So I've got to scan the little barcode here, and then it opens up in Garmin Messenger here. You can see it recognized that it's a Fenix 8 Pro 47mm. And I'm going to click Add to Messenger now. You can see the watch now says getting ready for Messenger, and I can already type a new message on the watch, but I still don't have cellular enabled or InReach because I need to set up the subscription, which I believe I do on my phone here. All right, so here it's prompting me to set up InReach for the Fenix 8 Pro. You can see I can try InReach service for free, which is kind of nice. Looks like there's a 30-day trial included. Stay connected and leave your phone behind with satellite and LTE. So here it's telling me I have another active device with InReach, and that's because I have an InReach Messenger for hiking. It's like a handheld unit. So I thought I could use both simultaneously, but it looks like you have to just prioritize one to use on your account. So I'm just gonna go ahead and click transfer service. And here you can see it's showing me exactly what's happening. It's showing my Garmin InReach Messenger here and a little arrow saying the service will go over to the Fenix 8 Pro. While this is transferring, I can say so far it's pretty simple. The one thing that's kind of annoying about Garmin InReach service and Garmin Messenger is that it is a different app. So if you do use Garmin Connect and you're used to that, interface and stuff, you need two different apps to make this all work. It would be cool if they could build the Messenger app just directly into the Garmin Connect app and put a little Messenger button in the bottom left corner or something. All right, well, I just got the email from Garmin. You can see it on the watch there that InReach is now enabled. Okay, now over here on the phone, I've got a big orange button that says activate device. I'm gonna do that now. And I just instantly got a test InReach message here, and you can see it says welcome to InReach, check out all the great messages, etc. And down here I can click reply, I can check for more messages, or I can delete. So it appears we're all set up now, and interestingly you can do some of the commands directly from your phone if you can't access your watch for whatever reason. So over here I've got my contacts. I can do a check-in with my wife automatically there. That's the big button. And then there's initiate SOS there as well. Now, if I go into the settings of the watch here and I dive down to connectivity, we can scroll down and find new settings for LTE here. This is the cellular connection. Right now you can see the status is standby, and that's because the watch isn't actively doing anything that requires LTE. I'm pretty sure that if you have your phone nearby, the watch will actually revert to your phone's LTE just to save some battery life. I might go ahead and turn off the Bluetooth on my phone so it kind of forces the watch into its LTE mode. And you can see there, right when I turned off my phone's Bluetooth, LTE turned on automatically on the watch, so it's now connected via the watch itself. Now we're just gonna type a little message. I'll send it, I guess, via email to myself just to see how it works. And now I can go ahead and type a message, or I can use all of these pre-canned or pre-configured messages that I've already had in here. And this is actually saved to my InReach account. These actually transferred over from my InReach Messenger. As you can see, I've got a bunch in here from my last race, like starting the race or finish line. We're just gonna type a new one using the keyboard. Now here's the keyboard to type out an InReach message over LTE or satellite. As you can see, this is a very small screen, so it's a little bit of a challenge, but it does have predictive text at the top here. So if you're roughly in the right ballpark, you should be able to fix the word. I'm just gonna write, I already messed up. Hi, space, this is Dave. Oh, see, I wrote Dabe, D-A-B-E, but it did correct Dave at the top there, so I'll click that, and we'll click the check mark. And you can see here, it says connect to satellite. When Bluetooth and LTE are not available, follow the on-screen instructions to point your device towards the satellite to send a message. I thought I was on LTE, but let's just click next and see what happens. It's trying to get a GPS signal now. I believe it's trying to connect to satellite, even though I'm pretty sure I have LTE in the space, but let me hold it by the window to see what happens. All right, I was able to get a GPS fix by holding the watch out the window, and now it's got this little prompt, much like what you'd find on Apple devices, like the iPhone when you're doing the satellite thing, where it wants me to aim my wrist at the satellite. I probably can't do it indoors, but you can kind of get a feel for what that looks like. Angle the watch, oh, it's actually working, but I can't show it on camera because it's such a steep angle. But there it is. It's trying to connect. I don't know if it'll work indoors because it's satellite connection. Okay, now as you can see, it took a few minutes, but we see LTE on, connected, and up in the corner here, we have 2 out of 4 bars, so not a super strong signal, but I am indoors right now. I don't know if this is actually designed for that. So now let's just go ahead and see if I can send a message over LTE. I'm gonna go ahead and dive into this message I already wrote, and then I'm gonna go ahead and click resend, and that sent nearly instantaneously. Wow, let's check if it's in my email. Yep, and if I dive into the message in my email, it says, hi, this is Dave. That's the message I wrote on the watch. You can see it right there. And below that, I get a link of my current location, which I will need to blur out for this video. I am curious though, if I send a text message to my wife, will she be able to respond to it without having the Garmin Messenger app? Let's try that out. There we go. I just wrote a message to my wife that says, can you see this? It is currently sending. That one took a little bit longer, only a few seconds though. It says sent. And now we gotta wait and see if my wife actually saw that. So that's pretty cool. I just texted my wife on her phone. She does not have the Garmin Messenger app. I popped up as a random phone number for her, but she was able to reply right there and say yes to, can you see this? So I think there's a lot of misunderstanding of how this works with Garmin Messenger, but it appears that you can do basic text messaging two-way back and forth without needing the Messenger app installed on both phones, or both watch and phone. But I do want to try one more thing. I'm going to try to call my wife and do a voice call with her with the watch, but I do think she needs Garmin Messenger on her end, but let's give it a shot. And right off the bat, we have a message that says call failed. The person you're trying to reach needs to update their Garmin Messenger app to receive voice calls. So there you go. You can send two-way text messages back and forth without the Garmin Messenger app being installed on the other device. But if you do want to make phone calls, that other person will need to install the app. Another thing that you cannot do on the new Garmin Fenix 8 Pro, and got a lot of questions about this on my previous video, is stream music over LTE. I know that's wishful thinking. That would have been really cool to see, but no Spotify over LTE at this point. Maybe sometime in the future, but I assume that would take a ton of battery life. So there you go. That's just a quick first look, unboxing, setup, and demo of the new InReach functionality on the Garmin Fenix 8 Pro and how it works, and that little hidden feature about the brighter display. I was actually surprised by that. I had no idea they put a brighter display on here, and it appears to be the same display they used on something like the Forerunner 970, which is also very bright, so that's good news. But that's the end of this video. If you have comments, questions, you want to know more about these watches, comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. Any questions I can help answer. I will have lots of follow-up content about the Fenix 8 Pro, how it works, and a more in-depth review down the road, and how often I use that InReach functionality. So make sure to comment down there with your questions, and I will be sure to follow up in the next video. After you do that, also check out the links in the description down below, where you can head over and pick up your Fenix 8 Pro or any other watch. And after that, check out my merch store over at chasetosummit.com, where you can pick up a sweet hat like that. Oh yeah, and don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, do all the things on YouTube. Really helps me out. And I'll see you very soon. Very soon, actually. Tomorrow. Okay, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.